Every anime season, I always wait for something that is a breath of fresh air to watch. Usually, I look for something that does not need prerequisite knowledge to watch straight away. And for this season, I have to say I'm impressed and excited every week to watch Wave Listen to Me. Yes, Wave Listen to Me, or Nami yo Kiitekure, is a seinen comedy show currently airing during this spring season. I don't really come across many seinen comedy shows like this one, or perhaps I just don't watch or don't look out for shows like this one, but usually the anime comedies that I watch are things like The Daily Lives of High School Boys, Barakamon, or something like Bento, for example. They're all funny as hell shows, but they're not quite like this one. Funnily enough, this series was created by Hiroaki Samura, who's also the creator of Blade of the Immortal. Yeah, right? I mean, how can you go from this to this? By the way, check out the new reboot anime for Blade of the Immortal that aired just this winter 2019 season. I absolutely loved the shit out of it. And I know, manga readers, I know, the manga is better. The manga is always better. That's the rule, that's the law. I get that. I just didn't have a chance to read the manga.
Oh, Meg, that is the least fancy thing I have ever heard.
Now, let's get back to Nami yo Kiitekure, which is a big change of genre for Samura. My guess is Samura wanted to create something to contrast the bloody gore in his previous works, and I have to say he showed that he can pretty much do anything and it would still turn out pretty good. Maybe this was like a decision made by his therapist or something. Nami yo Kiitekure focuses on Minare Koda, who's currently working at a curry restaurant. She's 26 and she pretty much does not know where her future is headed, so yeah, we can all pretty much relate to that. After a bad breakup, she went out drinking one night and met Kanetsugu Mato, and ended up ranting to him about her breakup. Mato is a radio station director in Hokkaido who was on the lookout for new talented comedians that he wanted to include in his radio station. And Minare Koda was pretty much what he was looking for, as she reminds him of his former comedian friend who he seems to have quite the feelings and history with. Mato ended up recording Koda's drunken rant and airing it on his radio station without telling her. Yeah, that's a pretty big dick move, alright? This led up to her getting in touch with him and getting the radio gig, which might just be the perfect job for Minare, and that pretty much summed up the premise of the show. But where the show shines is really not in the plot, but it's in the character interactions, the witty comedic bits, and Minare's erratic and bombastic personality. And even though throughout the show she shows herself to be erratic, she is quite charismatic to the people around her, and she's the type of character you instantly want to root for. And not to mention that the show features some of the best physical comedy I've seen in a while. On the dramatic side, however, the show also explores themes of young adulthood and trying to figure out how to survive and what kind of work is best suited for you. Much like the current airing show Sing Yesterday for Me, but without the heavy romance focus and all of that. The show is very aware of itself, which makes it a mature comedy for adult audiences, and for me, one of the best traits you can find in a show if you're tired of the good old shonen action franchises. The comedy writing in this show is what sells it for me personally. You will find yourself laughing out loud many times throughout each episode, and each episode leaves you wanting to see more of the characters around Minare as well. For example, you have Minare's best friend and colleague from the curry restaurant, Nakahara Chuya, who is just a normal dude who clearly has some feelings for Minare, but they're probably opted to just being friends in the show. On the other hand, we have the best girl of the show in my opinion, and that is Mizuho Namba. She works at the radio station with Mato, and is all around one of the most wholesome characters in the show. She's often supportive of Minare, and their interactions contrast their two polar opposite personalities, as she's quite normal and calm, and Minare is quite fucking erratic, alright? This makes for some great comedy bits.
わかった、みずほ。一緒に行こう。何があってもお前を守ると誓ったことを忘れていたよ。
ありがとうございます。いつの間にそんな誓いを。
Mizuho loves Minari because of her daring attitude, which she herself doesn't have the courage to have. So Minari shows her a new, exciting side of life that she was maybe somehow missing or missing out on. And some of the scenes of them while living together are just a treat to watch. While watching the show, I get the urge and motivation to explore my creative side more, like the characters. And that's one of the main strengths of the show. Trying to make an interesting radio show for young adult audiences takes Minari to several roller coaster rides and adventures that you wouldn't even expect a radio show to have. I'm absolutely looking forward to the last couple of episodes of this show, and I will miss it, of course. And I might just start reading the manga as well. There are no over-the-top action fights here, no supernatural elements, just good old real-life setting. And look what Samura Sensei has done with it. That goes to show that you don't need to be over the top to make an interesting, engaging show like this one. And Samura Sensei makes it look easy. I just absolutely love seinen shows like this one, and I wish there was more of them. Although I'm sure there are more mangas like this one that don't have any adaptations yet, because the seinen audience is not as big as the shonen audience, of course. But all in all, the show shows that real life can be exciting and adventurous as well. And that's one of the things that I love about the anime media. You can pretty much find any type of show that you're looking for in anime, as it's so versatile and dynamic. And not to mention that this style of comedy is unique to anime. It's wholesome, it's surreal, it's random, it's just all around creative and different. One thing that I'd like to mention that I just can't ignore about Minari, and that is the fact that Minari is a very open character if you think about it. She can interact with pretty much any type of person, and she does not block out anyone in her life, even if they're pushy or annoying or are just weird to her. And I'm sure Samura wrote her like this intentionally, because if there's one thing Samura understands, it's human beings. She would be honest with you if she finds you ridiculous and would probably be hilarious while doing so. She's the type of person who can interact with any other type of person without being awkward. You can say she's like a natural, easygoing character. It's that kind of comedic, down-to-earth nature of her character that makes her a wonderful companion to all the characters in her life. And it begs us to ask ourselves whether, in our life, we are blocking people out and not being open to life's possibilities. And how wonderful it is to not be in our comfort zone all the time, as it's proved to be one of Minari's great characteristics that enhances her life and the life of the people around her. That's pretty much all I wanted to say about this show, and I hope you check it out. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll keep making those if I have the time.